one of my favorite things, Mitch, is when I meet somebody and they say, "Oh man, I hate religion." I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, me too." And they're
Yeah.
like, "How are you a chaplain? How does that work?" And I'm like, "It's not about religion. It's about relationship.
Yeah. I agree.
That's what God wants with us.
Yeah.
He wants relationship. If he just wanted a bunch of minions who would follow the rules, we would all just be a bunch of drones running around out here, like a bunch of robotic ants just going through the motions.
Hmm.
That's not what he wants. That's certainly not what we want.
Right.
We're, I mean, clearly we're obviously pretty independent creatures. You know, that would be very unfulfilling for us. Um, so, I get a lot of the standard questions. What do you guys deal with suicide? Do you hand out money? Do you do this? Do you do that? Let me tell you exactly what kind of ministry we are. We're not in a place to cut checks, so I can't just give money away or anything because we're most of the ranch right now is being funded by my retirement, and I'm totally okay with that. Uh, but the kind of money we're going to need to get the ranch open and established is first 3 years build and operational cost 4.9 million. So that's now that's if we have to build it. If it's like a ready ranch, somebody wants to say, they want a tax break, so they donate the property or whatever. Okay, cool. We can do that too. Um, but there's so many organizations out there that do things like equine support and things of that nature. So we're not going to do that. We're going to bring those people in and join the team because I don't have every tool that Mitch has. Mitch doesn't have every tool that Ron has. But together we're unstoppable because once you combine those forces and the way we're going to work it, this is Helen's vision of a piece of the ranch. She wants to have this big barn, like beautiful enough to where you could like get married in it. But we would hold our gatherings there, hold our chapel there, hold our meetings there. And then there would be office spaces and bunk space in the upper level for organizations to come in for their portion of the program. Say the equine portion is only 4 days. Okay, park your trailer and we'll corral the horses. You're bunking up here. Chow's at 6. Let's go to work. And it's just ready that. So we want to have that malleable environment where we can fit in all these things, but it's not going to be just anybody. What we're dealing with is someone's salvation, someone's life after life. And there's really nothing more important than that. So when we come at this approach, when we come at it from this approach, Mitch, what we see is people don't really understand. They don't understand. Like, well, you would have to really love somebody to care enough about them to want to drive these issues, and drive through these issues walk beside them in their pain and their torment and their suffering. But you know what, Mitch? Somebody did it for me. Somebody did it for me when I had a 357 tickle in the back of my throat.
Wow.
When I was suicidal, I had the big online Facebook meltdown, and it was just this tragic, ugly, horrible public thing. And it was what it was. But you know what got me the most about that day?
What's that?
There was one veteran, and I honestly, God's honest truth, I don't even remember his name. But he said, "Why don't you just go ahead and do it? Instead of putting us through all this BS, why don't you just go ahead and do it?"
Wow.
And that was like a slap in the face. That was like a wake-up call. That was like, wow, people have limits. And you have clearly reached the end of this guy's limits. And I mean, it was bad. I mean, no other way to look at it. It was rough, but I didn't ever go through anything that I didn't voluntarily put myself through.
Yeah.
Fact.